Here it is, the happiest house in Chicago. You can see on the facade of this new home under construction in North Center, 4 characters across the front made of brick, limestone, and the shapes of the windows, smiling down at us. And this is the character who's responsible for them, Eric Parfenoff, who's an architect and builder. Eric, what's going on here?
Well, I think good design should be like a good person. I think it should be friendly, honest, not take itself too seriously, and have a sense of humor. And that's sort of what I pursue in all my design.
I can see that this is a friendly, honest house, as you say.
Absolutely.
Now, inside, we're not going inside because it's under construction and there's almost nothing we can see now, but you have sort of a look that you've achieved inside, a floor plan in some of your other homes.
Doing this for 29 years, I've sort of established a floor plan that works in a 25-foot wide Chicago lot. There are only so many configurations that flow well and allow the best use of space. So I've sort of arrived at one, and I'm there until I find something different.
So what we'll have in this one, you have in the others, it's 3 bedrooms upstairs, 2 in the basement.
Correct.
And then there's living, dining, kitchen, and that's...
Family room.
Family, and that's relatively open.
Yes.
Okay. But where you've really put the fun is out front.
That's what people see.
You've got some others. Let's go take a look.
Okay.
All right, Eric, I know this is from a few years ago. You sold this in 2009. Tell me what the image is on the facade here.
These were knights holding hands, standing on a castle parapet, sort of protecting the house.
I can see that. Why knights? The other was happy. These are knights. Why?
At the time, my son was 2 or 3 years old, and he was very into knights, and that sort of was my inspiration.
Oh, that's great. Now, I can see it now that you've described it, but tell me what a buyer does. You walk up to look at this house, and what do they say?
Well, buyers typically don't see it until I point it out, and that makes me very happy because I don't want the houses to be a one-liner.
I can see that. I get that. This is the first of your houses I've seen. It sold last fall, and that's when I discovered your work. I love the fish hanging on the facade. It's a nice addition to the neighborhood. You build generally in the same neighborhood.
I do. I live in the neighborhood, and I really believe in building where you live and have faith in where you live and continue to improve that.
Well, that's great. They stand out. You add something to the neighborhood when you do this, but you're also doing something that's a little bit different. You work primarily with the facades.
Well, if you look at Chicago streetscape, basically it's just a series of facades, and so I put most of my emphasis on the facade, and that's where I have most of my fun.
Just a few doors down from the Happy House is where Eric and his family live, surrounded by the art of many generations. Eric's mother, his father, his grandfather have all been artists. So he's surrounded by all this, and then there's a gallery of the homes he's created, and you can see on the wall how they progress. The metaphors are not that pronounced. They get a little sharper. You get a heavy person and a thin person. You get a flower pot sprouting on the front of a house. Then there are a couple of years where it's a little more conservative during the recession, and then this most recent series, these past 3 houses we've been looking at. So Eric, we've seen a whole bunch of your houses, both in person and in the gallery in your home. So I have to ask, you've done the Happy House, now what?
I'm not sure. I'm working on it right now, but I hope that my legacy will be a series of these characters populating the city by the time I'm through.